Greetings and welcome to this video. That is indeed a picture of my dog lying on his back, exposing his derpy face. Now that I have your attention, this video is going to be pretty much based around my experience of FIFA 19, and it's going to be pretty much a culmination of all my thoughts this year. A state of FIFA 19 video, if you will. So this weekend I played in the eChampions League online qualifiers in Europe. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a FIFA player who has been verified pretty much from the get-go of FIFA 19. Now, what does it mean to be FUT Champions verified? It means that once you hit a 27-3 at least in FUT Champions, you become FUT Champions verified, which means you then become eligible to participate in online tournaments, qualifiers that are for all pro events from FUT Champions Cups to licensed qualifier events, and then the most recent one being the eChampions League qualifier. So I participated despite not playing pretty much any of the last ones from the past couple of months, simply because I was unhappy with the game, but I thought this was a good opportunity to gather some footage and make another video. Again, if you didn't know, I have made other videos in the past with feedback on gameplay aspects of FIFA 19. I made a video about passing, an aspect of FIFA which is not talked about enough, the assistance in it, the trajectories, the lifted passes. I made a video about shooting, something that pretty much everyone talks about. Made a video on offensive AI, something that I've never seen anyone talk about in a video format until I made a video showing the AI runs of FIFA 17 and how amazing they were, and how it's mind-boggling that in FIFA 18 and 19 we have regressed so much in that regards. Anyways, today's main topics after me playing the eChampions League are as follows. I want to talk about, well, first of all, let me tell you how I'm going to present to you these clips. Basically, each online qualifier, the format is the same. It's a Swiss style format. If you don't know what that means, basically everyone who is eligible to play and everyone who has signed up for the qualifier, they are on this website where they check in. And once you check in, your first match is going to be random. You're going to be paired with someone at random. And every person you play, you're going to play them in a best of 2. So in your first game, say you get your first opponent. His name is Bob. You play Bob and you play a best of 2 and you beat him. You're now 1-0. So your next opponent is going to be someone else who is 1-0, and so on and so forth. So you always play someone who has the same record as you. So it gets progressively harder in theory. And it's a grueling format. There you never go into extra time. Even if the score is tied, you quit the game, you start your next game, and if the score is tied after 2 games, you play a third game fresh in a golden goal format. All right, so that's how it went. And for this most recent one, basically you had to get 7 wins and 3 losses. The moment you got your 4th loss, you'd be knocked out. Okay, so now that you know that, pretty much I'm going to show you chronologically the games that I played, right? And from every game I played, I clipped something that was wrong. And these things that I deemed wrong vary from glitchy and broken situations, instances of assisted passing or poor interceptions, or manual tackling being punished, or poor offensive AI, or broken skill moves. I mean, Tornado and La Croqueta, 2 things that you'll see why I believe should just not be in the game. Or playing off of randomness. Professional players, competitive players are trained to play off of randomness, the RNG, because that's what's being rewarded. They're trained to make bad decisions because they know that the RNG may favor them in those instances. And then, of course, we're going to see a lot of things that show how mistakes are not held accountable. You can pass into someone 17 times and get the ball back, which means you are not held accountable for any mistakes that you make in your build-up play because the ball is just going to come back to you. You're not held accountable for a bad shot because it's going to go through someone's legs, etc. That sort of stuff. Now, I know I said I would show the games chronologically. So in theory, I should be showing you my first game, my first series, my first best of 2, and then game 1. But as you can see, we're going to go straight to round 5, game 1. So after round 5, game 1 will be the second game, and then I'll show you guys round 6. And the reason is these last 2 series were an abomination, to say the least. I think I'd rather start off with a bang, and then I'll show you guys the rest in chronological order. But it's still going to be in chronological order in the context of its own match. But know that this was the 5th best of 2 of the day. So at this point on, my record in Swiss style was 3 wins and 1 loss. So I was playing someone else who was also 3 wins and 1 loss in the 5th round. This was his team. And that's it. Now I'm just going to go in chronological order of clips that happened throughout the match. And we're going to take it from there. First clip you see, he does an El Tornado. So obviously from the get-go, we see that, okay, it's not a goal. But what's the point here? The point here is that the best players in Europe, at least, Elite 1 caliber players at least, deem this as a viable way to score. This is not okay. The El Tornado is overpowered in the sense that it's too easy to perform a cross after it. It's too easy to shoot. As you can see, shots are way too accurate. But most importantly, the mechanic itself acts as a Burba spin in the sense that it turns your body around. It allows you to shield off someone else. And also the way the ball bounces up allows you to sometimes go through opponents, and I have examples to show that. So, from the get-go, this is not a goal, but I already knew the type of player this guy was to abuse these types of mechanics. So I knew I was in for a ride, and I was right. Now in this clip, we show, FIFA 19, a big issue, in my opinion. Dribbling is really bad. Everyone complains about defensive AI, and it's a huge problem, but a reason it's so hard to break down defensive AI is because dribbling is horrific in this game. Look at Eusebio. I perform a drag back, and off no pressure, he does this animation. That animation itself where he hesitates and he stumbles, it means dribbling and left stick dribbling is horrible, which makes it hard to get through tight spaces, which makes defensive AI even more OP indirectly. Right? Next clip. You already know he's doing an El Tornado. And here, this proves my point that an El Tornado pretty much acts like a Burba spin, or one of those skill moves where you turn around. Because he doesn't even do a cross or a shot after this. He uses it solely to get around. And the weird trajectory makes it weird for my Militao to do anything about it. And even though this tackle right here that I make here is not that bad, the trajectory of the ball, it's bouncing, it's a mess, it's RNG, and I don't get the ball. He gets through luckily. He does a horrible pass into my Alexandro. Guess what? It doesn't matter. You're not held accountable for your mistakes in FIFA 19. Ball bounces back, ends up, and he has an Mbappe chance, which it's not a goal, but it's a shot. It's a shot of the stat sheet. And how many times you see people, oh look, I had 15 shots on target and I didn't win. And you're thinking, well, in previous years I would have been much more, understanding, empathetic. Nowadays I'm like, unless I see clips of what you did, I don't feel bad for you, because for all I know, you have 15 undeserved shots. That was an undeserved shot that we just saw. This one. My opponent is playing off of RNG, like I said, of the many issues I talked. Playing off of randomness. This cross, there's nothing on. There's nothing on, and because nothing's on, he's like, whatever. I'm just going to cross it. And, it's okay. It's normal that sometimes this plays out fine, right? But this is a common occurrence in FIFA 19. Playing off of randomness is not random, if that makes sense. It's actually very effective. So he ends up having a half chance with that bicycle kick right here. Right? We proceed. Bad touches. Not only is dribbling horrible in the sense that any pressure, like I showed previously, will cause the dribbler to hesitate and do an animation where he loses the ball or makes him an easy target. Touches are horrible. I like that driven passes were nerfed from FIFA 18. I like it. But this is a wide open driven pass. It's not even that long. He has no pressure on him. Again, easy driven pass. I'm holding L2. I'm doing the whole shebang, and look at that touch. I'm trying to vary my play. I'm trying to vary the speed and the tempo of my play. Do a driven pass here and a normal pass here. Variance. But I can't, because that's the touch I get. And I lose possession. Here, a little bit of a fast forward to show you how long it can take someone to break someone down. Right? And you don't get anything out of it because, AI dropping back is good. Dribbling is bad. So the combination of the two makes it really hard to break down unless you're on a counter. And then in 2 passes, after I lose possession, it takes 1 and 2 passes. He's on the wing, and that's all he has to do. Because from then on onwards, you guessed it, he does an El Tornado cross into Messi. That's right, Messi. I don't care if it's Team of the Year Messi. It is Lionel Messi on the second post, on a cross where he's not even thinking, he's not even calculating or timing. All he knows is that he has to do an El Tornado into a cross, and there's nothing to say about this. It's laughable. And so I'm 1-0 down in the first leg. Here, assisted passing, right? I'm trying to get the ball back. I'm trying to do two things at once here. I'm getting punished for proactive player switching. I put Willian here. Okay, I could have put him even lower, right? I could have, but I didn't. Either way, I put him all the way here, and then I switch into Guendouzi and try to cover this. The game, what happens? He doesn't care about passing it back safely. He wants to pass it to this guy right here in the minimap, and the game lifts the pass for him. He gets out of a situation. Here, he passes right through my Vieira. Again, he's not being held accountable for his poor decisions. I'm not getting rewarded for putting him into a situation where you should be making better decisions. I'm here with Vieira blocking this, so you want to get out of this, you got to pass back. You got to do something else. He doesn't, passes straight through Vieira. Boom, not held accountable. Next clip. I finally tie the score, and the goal is abysmal. But here's the worst part about this. 2 wrongs in FIFA unfortunately make a right. This goal is horrible. Should never be a goal. But in the context of the situation, unfortunately, it's fair enough. I should not have lost this game. This guy didn't make any chances to score. He just scored that El Tornado. He kept playing off the RNG, and then I score this. After all my attempts to break him down, I couldn't, but this worked. So it's an unfortunate balance, and no one's really happy after that, even if the score would have been deserved. So the second leg, we tied 1-1 in the first leg, and so now we go into the second leg. And off the get-go, it ends how it started, off El Tornado, which he doesn't score, granted. But look at this. Look at what happens here. He does the El Tornado, and the game auto-selects his Eusebio. So any input he does should register for Eusebio. But no, the AI steps in and does a bicycle kick for him. And, it's not a goal, but it's kind of worrying. Again, the El Tornado's broken. It's kind of worrying, though, that his AI goes out of its way to do a bicycle kick and potentially give him a goal. I mean, that's kind of not good. Here, with my Vieira, we get a cheesy goal, objectively. But past normal. At least we got into this situation, without too much damage. There's nothing wrong with anything that happened up until here. You could even argue that this shot should have gone in first time without a post, without it having to bounce back, right? So there is that potential, but I do understand that this is a cheesy goal. Nonetheless, it beats the hell out of any El Tornado. Unfortunately, it's never good when the moment that you start saying, well, at least you played into the box, that's when this game is in a bad state. Because if your saving grace is this type of goal, then we're in trouble, my friends, because you're dependent on a post rebound to score the best goal you can score, hypothetically, but not really. Don't worry though, my luck was short-lived because you already guessed it, off kickoff. But it's more than a kickoff. This isn't even about kickoff. This is about El Tornados, because he El Tornados me with Ronaldo. This is honestly comical. This finish right here. I mean, the El Tornado itself shouldn't be in the game, but he literally karate kicks Nedved in the chest to get through this animation. This animation is so unstoppable that you can't do anything about it. Boom, goal. 1-1, completely undeserved, and now we're tied again. Here, I've done well here. I got lucky a bit there. It was a bit weird situation, but I did well to get in this situation, in that position, getting through the tight spaces despite the horrible dribbling. And in this situation, should this be a goal? Should this not? I don't know. It's tough. I don't think most people would get angry about this going in. But whatever. He saves it with his legs. I mean, he even got lucky that this didn't rebound to my Eusebio. He got really lucky. But in the end, we take the lead with this goal, which is horrific. It's absolutely horrific. But again, it's sad that this is not a bad goal considering the El Tornados that we're going to see and that we have seen. I shoot. He blocks it, rightly so, because he's right in front of me. And I get the rebound. Nothing more to say about that. But of course, again, it's not even kickoff. It's El Tornado kickoff. Notice how he positions himself. Like, he has thrown away anything that is football related. Because in football, in this situation, you try to take your man on, you pass it back, or you go for the cross. He positions himself that makes it look like he's about to walk out the stadium just to get the angle for this broken mechanic. Boom. That's honestly pathetic. Pathetic to say the least. I should be 1-0 up in this game easily. And he had no other chances other than this. But it's not even about winning or losing. Even if I win this game, this is not right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could win this game 10-4. I don't like, and I concede 4 Il Tornadoes, and it's just it's a bit of a mess. But yeah, there you go. Unreal finish, unbelievable, but not in a good way. And again, he knew what was going on, and he keeps trying the same mechanic, even though I'm marking him with like 3 people and the AI. I'm just doing anything. But he continues, as you see from this cross, to play off of the RNG. This is RNG because it's literally a desperation cross with Messi's right foot in hopes of getting a lucky header, even though most of the area is covered. But, you know, Team of the Year Mbappe will do what he has to do. You know, it's just not that easy to score headers, and it shouldn't be. But playing off the RNG will help. This pass, you know, kind of half lucky that it gets to that point, and you already guessed it. El Tornado. This guy is so used to these mechanics that he's green timing headers off El Tornado. So you know he knows what he's doing. He's aiming for the situation. This is what I mean by the trajectory of the El Tornado being absolutely broken. Like, I can't do anything about this because the ball gets lifted. If you notice, David Luiz goes straight down and turns slightly. I didn't turn my analog slightly like that. Okay, no one does a movement like that. It just doesn't work. This is the game literally pushing away my David Luiz for his animation of the El Tornado to succeed. And we keep going, and unfortunately, this is what happens. 3-2. He's now winning by 1 goal in aggregate because of this. Another one. Literally, this is comical. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is, you know, you might say this never happens to me in Weekend League. Well, this isn't Weekend League. These are qualifiers for professional tournaments. And now I'm 1-0 down. There's 8 minutes left, right? I'm trying to get the ball back. I put him in a position where the right choice, you see, should be to pass back to this center back right here. You see him in the minimap because everything else is covered. And for this, I put him in a horrible situation for this pass, in theory, right? He's got his back. He's pressured. Look at the state of his leg when he's trying to attempt the pass. Like, it's so twisted. If you hit this ball like that, it should like bounce up and go super slowly in a way that I get it back. But nope. The game assists it, lifts the ball back. He's not held accountable for his poor pass decision. Instead of being calm and composed and passing it to his center back, gets out of the sticky situation. And guess what? This leads to a goal. Another cross, of course, because God forbid he breaks me down and gets into my net. 1-on-1 on goal. Like, I'm only conceding crosses and El Tornado shots. Or 4 El Tornado shots, a cross. I lost count. Anyways, I score off kickoff. No, I don't score, sorry. This is what I meant by goalkeeper movement. That shouldn't be in the game. I didn't mention it in this video, but... So I finally break him down because he was too lazy to track the run. Yes, I know it's kickoff, but he was still too lazy. So my first intention here would be to shoot second post, but as soon as I see him move his keeper, I switch to a finesse. So not a power shot anymore, but the game doesn't register / I wasn't fast enough to change to first post, and this gets saved. Honestly, this just bails him out of a stupid situation. I should have I'm not saying I should score this, but the keeper shouldn't move, and I should have the opportunity to like power shot in the second post because, come on, man. Like, it's just so unbalanced. Goalkeeper movement just breaks the rhythm of the game completely. Anyways, we do end up getting a goal. Just for show, we do a drag back here into a driven shot, which I only took for the bans, to be honest, but it went in. Weird how that happens. But again, 10 times better than any shot he gets, and I end up losing that series by 1 goal, and I think it speaks for itself that was a bit laughable. So round 6, game 1. So after that loss that we just saw, I would have been 3-2 in Swiss style. And remember, at 4 losses, I get knocked out. So here, this glitch is still present. When you do a ball roll and it just like boots it forward. I don't know why this still happens, but it's a glitch. To the next clip, again, what I mean by poor touches. Just a normal pass to Nedved, and look how far forward he takes it. But even if we ignore that, look at this weird animation that happens now. What is that? That's what I mean when the game is glitchy. It's just glitchy. Weird glitchy things happen with no explanation. You know, this clearly has something to do with how easy it is to pressure the ball holder. That's just weird. Anyways, we fast forward to show this is when I scored. Nothing wrong. Nothing really to say here, just for context sake to show that I'm 1-0 up. And then boom here, 2-0 up. Not a bad goal, not a bad goal. Squeeze the pass through, 1-on-1 with Guendouzi. Surprised I finished it, to be fair. Here, again, it's too easy to put pressure on the ball holder. I'm with Eusebio. He tackles me once, he misses. There's no alert on the top right corner or wherever that it's a foul, even though he literally tackles me and hits me and makes me lose balance without touching the ball. That's a foul. And what does that mean? Not only is it making left stick dribbling and wiggling and weaving outside of his reach impossible, but I had a run. My plan was to do a through ball lofted as soon as I weaved away from him. But because he does this animation, I lose the window of opportunity to make this ball. I do it anyway, and look at how poor the trajectory is, right? And yes, I know I'm speaking really fast, but we're going rapid fire here because we have tons of examples to go through. So yeah, I mean, it's too easy to put pressure on the ball holder, a wasted opportunity there. Now, in the next example, a horrific pass. We're going to see a lot of horrific passes in this game because that's something that, it needs to be held. People need to be held accountable, and the game needs to be held accountable for assisted passing. Passing is literally the button. The ground pass button is what you press the most often. It's the button you press the most often, and at the same time, it's the button with the most assistance. It's the feature with less skill gap. The thing you do the most is the thing that's broken the most. So that's never a good sign. He's literally on the opposite direction. Granted, he may have pressed triangle, but it's a horrible position to be pressing triangle in or X in or whatever. And this pass is just, it's not as bad as most might think, but should definitely not be this easy to get through. Nonetheless, we keep going. And again, El Tornado, does it work? No. Is it still a problem? Yes, because look at the havoc this creates. Militao has to intercept a ball mid-air, which causes Nedved to try and trap it, and he does his own weirdo animation. And it's a dangerous situation. This could have ended a lot worse. This could have ended up to him for no reason, because Nedved's animation is all triggered by himself. I do nothing here. I'm not in control at all. Luckily, the ball ends up back in Militao's feet. Now here, this goal might seem normal, but honestly, it is a trash goal. And I'm 2-0 up here, right? So deficit cut in half for no reason other than the fact that he did a first-time driven shot despite being blocked. And it is blocked because it went through my legs, as you can see here. It just goes through my legs. Like, how do I not... Like, he just wasn't quick enough to get the right space, right? It just comes down to that, but it still goes through me. And God forbid my check saves anything. Now, look at the state of this pass. If you always can tell when you freeze frame the moment the pass is made. Look at this. He's passing to this orange, and is Vieira's here, but he's obviously not close enough to get the ball. But look at Guendouzi. Guendouzi it's clear as day. Excuse my dog in the background. He's having a sip. He's clear as day he's ahead of Ronaldo, but look how inactive he is. Look how the ball magnetizes away from him and towards Ronaldo. That's embarrassing. This should be an opportunity for me to counterattack. That's all there is to it. Right here, again, this shows how trajectories of passes are completely random. This pass is so bad that I have no idea what he's doing. Are you passing to this guy? I don't know. This guy? I don't know. This guy? I don't know. Because the ball goes straight down. He sure as hell did not aim there, right? Nowhere near there. But the game was like, okay, you aimed somewhere, I'm guessing here. This is the trajectory that will work for you. Here you go, buddy. And he does this, and because of this trajectory, which is super random, his Ronaldo is also magnetized to it, so he now has all this space in the middle, and the middle is the most overpowered area of the pitch, especially when you get by the CDMs and the center midfielders, for no apparent reason other than the fact that the game gave him this position. And so we continue with the play, and he manages to get outside of my box. I know he's going to do a run, so I'm tracking that. And I noticed that Militao is pretty much in line with De Bruyne. So I'm like, okay, I like these odds. Cover the run, and he finesses across goal. It's not a tragic goal. It's not the end of the world. But at the same time, overall, it's like a harsh situation. It's now 2-2. He scored an abomination of a goal before this. And, it's harsh. Overall, it's harsh. And this takes the cake, though. This really takes the cake, though. Because look at the moment this pass is made from Mahrez to Ronaldo, right? It's 2-2 now, 20 minutes left. This pass, that's the trajectory, right? So it's clear as day that Vieira is running in the correct place to intercept this. But that's not how it works. The game knows I'm running this way, so it autocorrects the pass this way. He gets through, cuts my CDMs undeservedly so. Gets the ball with Ronaldo, wins the 50-50 right before with Ronaldo. He does the La Croqueta, which is the, you shouldn't be able to slither like a snake continuously. There should be definitely a limit to one La Croqueta at a time. You can't do like 3 in a row. And even more than that, it's just broken in the sense that even if you only have one, it literally teleports you. It literally pushes away the defender. It's so broken. And he uses that. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking, you're nowhere near in a good position to score. But lo and behold, I had a surprise. Through Sandro's legs, hits check, and goes above and into the net. Like, the game didn't even have the decency to make this go through Czech's legs. No, even worse. Czech saves it. And I've never seen that trajectory like that in FIFA, right? And now in this screenshot freeze frame, I want to show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players in his box. Now, does that mean he's on drop back? I don't think so. No, because personally, this is hard to break down. This is a nightmare. Look at the state of that. There's like a line here. Okay, but either way, I play on 7 bars of depth, which means it's a really high line. It's only 3 bars from maximum of 10, and I'm balanced. So my line should be pretty high up. But because the defensive AI in this game is super weird and you don't have an offside trap option, you don't have an option to keep your high line, they just get pushed back. Even I on 7 bars depth occasionally have my whole team in the box. So I don't even know if he's on drop back, because it could just be the AI. But he could also be on drop back. Either way, this is just hard to play against, man. And then here, you see my pass to Guendouzi through his legs. Just, I get bailed out this time. I'm trying to show you that even when I do these passes, I'm not happy with myself. I'm very upset with myself. I take passing pretty seriously, and I'm not happy with this decision. I should have passed it up. Should be intercepted, but it doesn't get intercepted. And obviously this leads to a chance. But the point here in this chance is that he's behind me. And again, it's too easy to get the ball holder off the ball. I do a scoop turn. I'm trying to play around the tight spaces in the box and score a decent goal. I do scoop turn, and he puts me off balance. If he falls, maybe it's a penalty, maybe it's soft, but like I can't shield away. I can't do anything. Like it's just not balanced. It's not balanced, and the defenders are not held accountable for their poor challenges. Now here, love it. Lozano bodying David Luiz, even though I was clearly in a good enough position to body him, but it is what it is. And so we go to the second leg, right? 3-2 down after being 2-0 up in the first leg. And the first clip of the second game is, of course, a pass that goes right through me. Again, a moment where this is literally, it sets the stage. It's on a silver platter. My counter is on. Look at that gap here that this striker could abuse. But the game had other plans. I'm not allowed to intercept the ball. Right, that's also why the defense can drop back so long. If it takes you so long to regain possession because passes go through you, obviously every defense is going to drop back, and it's going to look like everyone's on drop back as well. All these things play a part, a role. Here, horrific pass from him, but he's not held accountable for his mistake because touches in this game are not good. That touch might seem like nothing, but in that split second when I'm trying to wiggle my stick and respond, I can't do anything. I'm stuck. It's not responsive, and he has an opportunity to get the ball back. Here again, passing. It's clear as day. I'm aiming the pass to him. Somehow the game translates this to targeting it to him, and he's the one active. And Nedved just moved. Like, I have no idea what happened there. What is that? That is confusing. Here, we have an abomination of a goal again. He does his little slither in La Croqueta. He's like a snake over here. Look, this, you really have, some people might not see it at first glance. Besides the fact that La Croqueta is broken and you just go through people, this is a block trajectory through my legs. Not only that, if we pause when the pass is made, boom, right there, there is no indication that De Bruyne's making a run, right? Even if there was, again, it's blocked. This should get blocked. Second of all, why is my AI not tracking it anyways? Some runs will be too late for the AI to track, but this is clearly not. He's in a better position. This is just overall an RNG situation. I guarantee you he had no idea what he was doing. He was like, I got into this position. Let me just press the pass button and see what happens. And it just went his way. He played off the RNG. It went his way, and I got punished for no apparent reason. Now I have a 2-goal deficit to make up for no real reason other than the fact that this game is random as hell. Like, extremely random. What was this one again? Oh, right, of course. Lifted pass. Under pressure, of course. Here. Oh, my days. He passes it in. It's like pinball at this point. He passes it here. It turns into a pass to Ronaldo. Now he's got an even better ball that way. And here, I know he's making this pass. I know. If I move my Sandro any more this way, he's literally walking into the stands and walking outside the pitch. I have a good enough position here. And you could tell he does this half-assed animation where he's barely trying instead of using his left foot to just grab the ball. This is literally like a half a meter space here. How is this going through? It's unbelievable to me. But it gets better. It gets better. He hits my Vieira. It goes down, right? So he's playing pinball now with my players. Fast forward, and you can see he gets a corner. I fast forwarded this on purpose. And off of that, he has a corner, which he takes short. He does the La Croqueta to then get into this position where my Vieira is literally on him, but somehow the shot the shot happens nonetheless, because that's how La Croqueta breaks the game, and he gets a shot. He gets an opportunity on it. He gets the stat pad, right? So now the stats look better in his favor, when in reality, so far, we've literally seen nothing. Nothing of value is happening. Again, stats are just not accurate. Here, another one. We're going to keep saying another one for so many because these passes keep happening. Into my Vieira, rebounds back. If you took this example and looked at it by itself, you wouldn't blink twice. Because again, it looks pretty normal. It makes sense. The ball's fast towards it. But when you add it together to all the other examples I've already shown of interceptions not occurring or assisted passing, and then all of the ones that are still to come, it's apparent that there's a big, big problem. Because you can't look at it individually. You have to look at the collective and how a game evolves because of these things. And then it's 88th minute. I'm down 2 goals, and I scored this goal, which means nothing, but it's still an abomination. Look at this. Pass through his legs. I don't know how this goes through. And I score. Like, this is such a bad goal, but you have to look at the replay to understand. So that was round 6. And after that, I was 3-3 in Swiss style, right? And I didn't play the last game. I gave my opponent a free win because, honestly, I had enough. Even though I could have still played. I didn't have 4 Ls yet. But anyways, this was round 1, game 1. That's the opponent team. And again, a horrible pass. The angle is super tight. He's passing to this white arrow. I'm not sure you can see, but my black dot is before. That's my player. And he's literally in a perfect situation to get it. But because I'm the one intercepting the ball, my player has no interest, to the point where Ronaldo somehow pulls off a backheeled pass when my Lala is ahead. That is truly extraordinary. Like, he didn't like use his foot to claw forward and get an advantage on Lala. He literally had the time, or not the time, he had the ability to wait for the ball to come back all the way towards his back heel because the game won't let me intercept. That's just how it is. And then here, of course, like, this is playing off of the randomness, right? So I'm desperate here. I'm like thinking, what's going on in this match? Felt weird. I get a little bit of a tackle here, but of course it bounces back to him. Completely blocked shot, but as a pro player, you are trained to take bad decisions. This is a shot that is blocked, but there's many tutorials online of driven shots in FIFA 19, and it shows how they go in even if you're blocked. It's just all about body positioning. And even if this was blocked, it almost turns into a goal. It's crazy. Oh, look. Yeah, another one. Interception, just goes straight back. So he has an opportunity to squish me back into my box, and I can't counterattack. Here, another driven shot. But, like, look at the state of his... He's literally running straight. It looks like he's painting this box, this line. He's going parallel to it. His body's looking this way. But, in FIFA 19, you're trained to know that this is a shooting opportunity. If I have this ball, my only thought process is, how do I get the ball to this guy? That's all I'm thinking. But competitive players in this game are trained to defy the odds and laws of physics, try and squeeze the ball here, and green time a shot because the result is almost a goal. I got lucky that this didn't go in, and it's honestly weird to say that I got lucky in that situation. Here, another example of poor touches. Look at The ball's decelerating towards him and magically reaccelerates this way, even though he's touching it downwards, just because of how bad touches are. You see that? He completely loses track of the ball, like it reaccelerates, even though at no point does anyone give it force upwards. It just reaccelerates because I don't understand. This goal might seem normal, but really, dude, like, I'm even manually selecting it, and my legs aren't even that open. The dribbling shot goes straight through the legs. It's just harsh, man. I understand you're really close into the box, but come on. This is right through the legs. What more can you do? RNG. Like, you can literally count the amount of goals I conceded today that were clean on one finger. Maybe. Right? Here again, playing off of the randomness, going for the cross, even though nothing really is on. Cross is horrific. Easy to catch, but the goalie has other plans. Not sure why that can't be caught. This, again, the RNG. Bit of a soft foul, but we take it. It's fine. I accept it. He crosses it. The cross hits him in the head, and it turns into a secondary cross, which then turns into a header outside the box from Rio, a pass into Eusebio. Like, my opponent must have been like, oh, man, I couldn't believe I couldn't score. I'm thinking, how the hell did that even happen? Like, what? The RNG in this game is pure madness. There are more exceptions than constants in this game. And that's, or maybe the only constant is exceptions. You know, depends how you look at it. Here, again, auto lunge. Just unfortunate. Again, a really easy cross to catch based on the trajectory, how close to the first post it was. He could have easily used a second ad, but, you know, goalies have always been a struggle in FIFA, and he punches it away, so that counts as one save. Into Ronaldo, that counts as two saves. So, you know, sometimes if you see someone screenshot, oh, look, this goalie had 15 saves. All right. How many of these instances did you have where it's 2 saves per play? You know, this is one chance, but it's 2 saves. It is what it is. So I'm down 1 goal. I need a goal back. Put pressure. This is my chance because he's making a pass wrong. Ideally, it hits me, it rebounds forward, and I'm clear on goal. But of course, you know, stays there. How many times can you say unlucky, right? I'm someone who would always look at his gameplay ever since I started playing a lot more, and I could see the points where I was like, yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. But like 90% of the time, I could say I could have done this better. I could have done that better. In FIFA 19, I don't know. Like, I never see that. I only see, well, that was random. Well, this was random. I can't do anything about that. You know, people get out of sticky situations when they shouldn't. Again, you know, that's an opportunity for me to break. He passes into me. My Militao doesn't have any intention to trap the ball, control it, and he does that little animation there, pushes the ball out. This is his 2-0. Good goal. Nothing to say about his. Good stuff. But by then, you know, like, I haven't even had an opportunity to break because, again, people don't get punished. So the second leg of this match begins with another example of professional players, you know, training poor decisions. In this situation, you know, you try and get a better angle. Instead, you go for the orange timed driven shot, even knowing that it'll go through my legs, knowing that it could cause a parry, because that's what you got to do. You play out the randomness, and it is what it is. Here, the interception and everything happens, but why must it be so hard? Why is the touch after the interception so high up that I risk losing it here? It's things like these. Like, even when it works out towards you, you can see that the game is geared towards making all these uncomfortable situations that have no right to happen. And again, here he tries an El Tornado. It doesn't work, but it's a stressful situation as a defender. You know what he's trying to do. He knows that it's a high percentage play. This should never be a high percentage play. Not to mention, like, again, going back to glitchy situations, what is that? Like, he's sliding across. It's just, you could tell this game is just, it feels unpolished. You know, as much as it pains me to say, because we all love football simulators here. This pass is kind of half lucky, but, you know, fair enough. He gets the millimeters correct. Gets it to Ibra. Pressure's on him. He loses it on Sandro, but my Sandro gets stuck. Look at this. And Ibra has a second opportunity to take the ball. This should, like, it's not even about clearing it or passing it or shielding. Like, I have no time to do anything, not because of reflexes or anything, because he's stuck. He's literally stuck. I could wiggle every button on my controller, he wouldn't react. That's how bad that situation is in that scenario. And he has an opportunity to get it back, and even I get it back. Like, it's just the whole situation's a mess. In this situation, I show why the pace nerf that overall FIFA 19 experienced is not always good. In some cases, I kind of enjoy the pace not mattering as much, but here my opponent does a huge mistake. He overcommits all the way. You can see from the minimap all this area is open. My George Best, one of the best in theory right wingers in the game, speedy, he's got everything, is in. I'm doing a through ball to him. I should be able to cut inside, go towards the net, but because how this game works, look how fast he recovers. I don't even have an opportunity to turn left, because if I do that, he pushes me off the ball with how easy it is to push the ball holder off the ball, plus these guys are coming in. So I'm forced to body feint backwards and reset. Out of this huge mistake, this is a massive marking mistake. Like, you should be punished in the sense that I should be easily in this area. I'm not saying here. I should be easily in this area without anyone in front of me, but it's impossible with how pace works in this game. Here we go again. This is an example of poor offensive AI again. I made a video on this, so if you want, I'll put the links to those individual videos that cover individual topics in the description. But, you know, my Nedved kind of gives me half signs that he might abuse the space. Like, this is clear as day that this is where you should run, because if I can get this pass, then it's an easy pass this way. But he just stops, and this guy has an opportunity to run back. So check this out. And I lose the ball, which is really, really unfortunate. Nonetheless, here's the goal I score. Here's the goal I score. And not a bad goal. I draw back at the space, fake shot, and clear as day. Nothing wrong with that goal. I managed to score despite, tight spaces in the box being hard to abuse in this game. And then, of course, off kickoff, I make a huge mistake. This offside trap is on me. I was lazy, whatever. So now he gets on the wing, and I have two options. I do nothing, and I hope he misses, or I can use the mechanic that, in my opinion, should not be in the game, move the keeper this way, and hope that he doesn't shoot with Ronaldo and that he goes for a second pass. Because if he goes for the second pass, I can intercept that pass, right? And so I'm going to spoil it for you. He doesn't shoot with Ronaldo. So in theory, I'm now in a favorable position because I read that. And I do read that, but look, my goalie is... a what? Like, I did the right thing and it still doesn't matter. So what's the point? Just remove this feature, please. Because it ruins the flow of the game. Like, and even when you use it, what is he doing, dude? Just drop down and grab the ball. I read it. He should have lost this opportunity the second he decided not to shoot with Ronaldo because of the goalkeeper movement feature that I did. Which, again, I don't think it should be in the game. I'm totally fine with conceding this because I don't have the power to move him. Totally fine with that. Just in this case, since it is there, not sure why I don't save it. So 1-1 and then 3-1 on aggregate. Here, of course, horrific pass from him. The billionth time today that I've had a chance to, go on a counterattack. But I can't because this happens. And how many more counterattacks would everyone in the world have if people were held accountable for bad passes? The number would be immeasurable. Absolutely immeasurable. But nonetheless, we proceed. Round 3, game 1. So after 2 rounds, round 1 was the one you just saw that I lost. Round 2, I won automatically because my opponent forfeited against me. And so this is round 3. So at this point, I'm 1 win, 1 L. And we start with the usual passing because it's a very common thing. He gets out of this situation with a lifted pass. All right. Here, he passes through my Vieira. Right? And you could tell he's like passing up and down in this situation, right? So I have to deal with another couple minutes of this because I can't get the ball. Now here, it goes in my favor. I pass, I do a 1-2 with his leg, which is horrific. And this allows me to have this opportunity, which somehow also goes wide despite Eusebio's 5-star weak foot. So like, this is another case where 2 wrongs make a right in FIFA, even though that should just... In an ideal world, this just doesn't happen. Like, I don't get through like this. This is really unfortunate, and I should never, ever, ever have this opportunity. But even then, you get to this base, and that just shows you how weird finishing can be in this game when you miss so many chances from close range. But then, we saw earlier in the video the tornadoes flying in. Here again, of course, the high pass from Ronaldo makes it that much harder for Vieira to intercept it, because now he has to trap a high ball. Even though, a lifted ground pass is not a manual feature. Hopefully they do that for FIFA 20. And so it's harder. But I get out of that, I pass it back to Lala and then back to Vieira, so all good. But then I lose the ball, and you might say, oh, that's your fault that you lost the ball. Really? Because I don't think so. Look at Vieira. He hesitates when he traps the ball. I press pass now. But because you hesitated and he's leaning back, he takes that extra split second that allows him to intercept the ball, and he somehow scuffs that. So, there's so many mistakes. His shot got scuffed, and that kind of, fixed the mistake that my Vieira did for no reason, for being slow and unresponsive. But at the same time, how are we going to fix a mistake with more mistakes? Why can't there just be a responsive act by the player in possession? Why can't the first pass that Ronaldo does here not be an automatically lifted ball, so I intercept it much faster, and it never comes down to that? So many things that go back and show you the state of this game, which is extremely RNG, as we see another pass into my defender, which was back to him. Here we have an example of, again, taking the ball off the dribbler is too easy. He gets pushed down to that extent, and there's no sign of a foul or advantage. This is completely acceptable. So shrugging off that much to the point of making him fall is not a foul, even though, it's not a shoulder to shoulder. The ball is not touched. All right. Here, I don't score this goal, even though it's a very clear-cut chance, for two reasons. First of all, he moves his keeper down a little bit right there. Okay. Second of all, the trajectory of my shot is not the way it should be. In this case, someone like Eusebio should just go fly top bins. 2.45 bars of power, perfect. The reason the trajectory isn't good is because he moves his keeper, so it makes my trajectory bad. This is why goalkeeper movement is just a bailout. At this point, you've gotten played. I scoop turned you. Just let me shoot normally. Goalkeeper movement is bailing the game, is making the game worse. That's all it comes down to. Here again, you already know the drill. Intercepted pass. Doesn't allow me to switch away from Vieira, because I could have switched away from Vieira here and run in. And, of course, I lose the ball. Here, again, a poor touch / poor interception. Things intertwine. It's not only bad touches, but it's also bad interception. Sometimes they mix. Easy, slow-paced ball, and somehow this is the touch that results from it, which means he can play, and off the same play, again, passes into Vieira, goes back. You see, and then he gets in a really dangerous position through two horrific passes. So again, not accountable. This is just straight glitchy / messy. Messy, not the player, messy, untidy. He's trying to go for this pass. The angle is just not there. There's three people. I'm not switching actively because there's so many people that I don't want to mess this up. I can see that one of them is my second man press, so I can cover it all like that. But look at the commotion. Look at this. It causes so much unnecessary stress and auto clearance that I didn't do, and he retains possession. It's just, and then you wonder why possession can last so long. You can never retain the ball back. Here you see a double drag back. The drag back, by the way, another one of the skill moves. I don't think you should be able to spam this much. He gets through the drag back the half yard he needs for a finesse. There's nothing necessarily wrong with this goal, but to concede this is just a little bit of a slap in the face, especially with the chances I could have scored. It's just not what you want to see. As usual here, a pass that, should have been intercepted much easier was so much harder. Eventually we got it back, though, so that's interesting. That does happen. And then here, again, even though I juke him out with Guendouzi, look at the way his touch is after the dribble. It makes it impossible to weave and do a series of turns and get by all of this, right? Because dribbling is too bad to do that. So against drop back, it's normal that you're going to be frustrated, because even if you do one correct turn and generate space, the touch after that is so poor that you're just going to lose it again. And this was the goal, to make it 1-1, in which I surprised myself, to be honest. I remember in this play, I saw Neymar from the corner of my eye run, and I was like, whatever, dude. Screw it. I'm going to try the through ball, and it went well. Really good ball. In, we tie it, 86th minute, and that's pretty much the end of leg 1. We go into leg 2. It starts again. El Tornado. These are the highest level players, in theory. And this is what they try, because these are high percentage plays. Look at the stress like this causes the defenders, right? Here, the ball bounces over. I don't think that was a manual flick. I think that was just the results of me putting pressure, and just the game lifts the ball up. Regardless, though, I literally foul him from behind. It's not a shoulder to shoulder. I'm pulling his arm. There's no foul call. It's too easy to get the ball off the ball holder. You know what I mean? Like, or not to get the ball. Getting the ball is difficult, but it's easy to make a dribbler get caught off balance. That's what I should say, right? Here, he tackles me, and it turns into an even better situation for me. Really unfortunate. Here, this is a good example of poor AI, because I get through, and the only one giving me support is my CDM. Like, what? Granted, that's the other CDM, and my Nedved is already busy here, but Neymar shows no interest in doing anything of like aggressively cutting inside. And then I have to play the Hail Mary pass just for the simple reason of getting rid of the ball, although in hindsight I could have dribbled. But look at this glitchy situation. Like, it just goes to show you how this game just doesn't feel finished at times because of situations like these. Like, what was that? Out of sportsmanship here, I remember thinking, I'm not pressing this. You see, I stopped. I backed off because I was like, I'm not even gonna bother. Like, I don't feel like pressing that situation here. My opponent could have been really unlucky here. I passed, intercepted, and look how they keep on doing this animation when they intercept a ball, as if they're getting punched in the stomach, which causes them a split second of time where they're unresponsive for no reason. And that could have gone a lot worse for my opponent, but luckily it didn't, because it would have been really unfortunate. And here, again, La Croqueta. It's just used incorrectly. This is not what La Croqueta is in real life. La Croqueta in real life is sliding away from a challenge. In FIFA, La Croqueta is literally using the skill move to power through somebody, like going onto someone. So you see how no one's tackling him, but he's doing La Croqueta because he knows he can shoulder to shoulder me and teleport his way through. And it's just, people play off the randomness of skill moves, right? So instead of going for a play, he goes for something that he knows might make an unfortunate bounce go his way. So that's always unfortunate. Here, he's not pressuring me at all, and he's not bothering covering the run. And look at the minimap, how much space is there. I powered up to perfection, 2 bars, so not too much, not too little. But, the game, it's unfortunate that in FIFA, it's not contextual what works. In this context, it's clear that the right thing to do is a lob through ball, but I don't get rewarded for it simply for the fact that lob through balls are just not good enough most of the time, right? So what works isn't dictated by the scenario, unfortunately. What works is dependent on the FIFA itself and what that game itself, that iteration of FIFA allows to work. So, it gets way too long. Granted, he brought his keeper out, so well played for him to that. But this ball should be bouncing like here. Max. Just because I should get rewarded for the timing, he should get punished for the inactivity defensively. Here, obvious ball. I'm manually using him so that when he traps the ball, I'm right on him instantly. But it turns out the pass is just poor. Goes straight to me, but the first touch is even worse. Goes down, and he retains possession. Here, this is really weird. I was confused here because in the moment, I thought, how did he get through me? But looking back, my Neymar's running back. So I'm like, oh, you're going to help me out here. He just runs across. Like, what are you doing here? Imagine this happening in real life. The attacker coming back and just running. He just keeps going over the ball and overcommits. Like, it just looks like someone's so out of place. I don't know how that happens. No harm done, but again, just intricacies that make you wonder what is going on sometimes. And then here again, my opponent got short end of the stick on this scenario. It could have gone a lot worse for him because he tackles me, but Pogba does his animation where he hesitates. Actually, no, not there. There he does it, which allows Guendouzi to regain possession, and I get to reset my play despite the fact that I was clearly tackled. It creates a very dangerous situation where I go for the 100% goal. It doesn't work, but I could have even shot here. You know, this was an unfortunate situation that all came out from an animation which didn't allow him to do anything. Here, clearly read his pass, but again, Guendouzi looks like he gets punched in the stomach. Hesitation, animation, ball bounces back. El Tornado shouldn't be in the game. Here, easy interception for Nedved, but look at that. He does an animation like he's about to get hit by a baseball bat or something, or a baseball, and he doesn't, like, literally, had he stayed still, it would have hit him, but he made himself smaller for my pass to go through. Anyways, that ended 0-0, 1-1 on aggregate. We go to golden goal, and in this chance, it was a decently worked chance, nothing special. We get to this position. Obviously, that's kind of blocked, so I'm going first post finish. His AI slides in, right? Some people might be really angry about this. I just thought I'd put it here just for debate's purpose. But, in my mind, he's close enough to where I'm not too angry about it. But at the same time, he's not selecting it, so I don't know. It's a tough one. If this was the 19th minute of a normal game, I probably wouldn't have cared as much, but it was golden goal, so it did have more influence. Here, he gets a penalty. This should never be a pen. Like, all I'm doing is holding L2. I'm jockeying. I'm holding my ground. He dribbles into my foot. And then, yes, he pushes him, but I'm not asking him to push him. He falls way too easily. And, like, I don't know, man. This is a really harsh penalty, especially considering what I did. But that's why this year it's so easy to get penalties, because dribbling is so bad that falling is so easy. So once you fall and lose possession in the box, a lot of times you can get a penalty off of that, which is weird nonetheless. We saved the pen. I knew he'd go center. He did seem like the cheeky guy that I thought he was. And obviously, as it goes, I score off the play subsequent to that. And good goal. Nothing to say here. So we win that on golden goal. And at this point, I'm 3 wins, 1 L. No, I'm 2 wins, 1 L. Sorry. Yeah, 2 wins, 1 L. And we face this guy right here. And I made a mistake here. Nothing to say about this goal. Just putting it for context sake. 1-0 up. And this is where it gets tricky again. This goal he scores is, in my opinion, not good, not acceptable. As you see, I read his cut inside. I didn't know what skill move. I knew to do a skill move to go this way. Wait, my bad. That's not it. This is the goal. Right here, I knew he'd do a skill move to go inside. It's obvious. Like, it bounces back to him like that. But this is where it gets really messy. He passes in to Payet. What? How does that even happen? Payet is running this way to then turn that way and shoot all at the same time. No, I'm not having that. First post as well. Not having that. Horrific goal here. Fake shot. Like, he touches me just enough to trigger my animation where I lose possession, but not enough to make me fall and get the foul. So that's not fun. Should definitely either be a foul or I should just be able to come through for sure. But that goes back to the point of dribbling in this game not being good enough. Here, the stage is set for a easy lob through ball, a cheeky FIFA 10 style one. I mean, he overcommitted. Huge mistake on his part, leaving this massive gap. He's not under pressure. Guendouzi is by far a good enough player. I powered it not too much, you can tell, because I accounted for the less space. Last time we had a through ball, the defensive line was almost at the halfway line like here. Now we're lower. I account for that. I do low power. And what does the game do? It gives me a trajectory that makes it just out of reach for me and perfect for the center back. So again, it just goes to show you how it's a shame how the game isn't contextual. It's just all about what mechanics work that said year, and then you just spam them over and over, right? So I just should have done something else here, I guess. It's just a shame. And then here, God knows how I didn't score. Literally, again, horrific defending from him. Eusebio, just easy finish, really. Now here, I knew I was second man pressing, and I was waiting for the ball here with my center back. And, my Sandro doesn't stick a leg out, which is unfortunate. I think that was a bit of one of them passes that people not take for granted, right? When I don't think they should. Nothing to say here. Just my goal to make it 2-1. And here I make it 2-2. So in the sense of the play, this was a good goal, because the second the ball got here and the second he selected him, I knew exactly that I'd be able to get in on goal if he overcommitted or wasn't good enough at tracking, as Nedved made the run in. So that was good. I did, however, get lucky here because obviously it goes under Ferdinand. But again, unfortunately, we're in a position where we accept the luckiness because of what happened before, right? I was unlucky previously, so unfortunately, this is what FIFA 19 is. Here, again, just there's nothing really to say here other than what I mentioned that I'd speak about. Glitchy situations. What is happening here? Like, between everyone falling over, is he falling over? It's like unsure, tackles, trips, people tripping over, goalies falling over defenders, the ball staying there. Like, it's a mess. Just doesn't feel like a finished game. And here, again, back to the basics of passing. Blocked pass goes back to him. Here, I score my 3-2. Surprised I pulled that one off, to be fair, because I wasn't expecting to find space. And here it is, the last game, round 4, game 2. Heading into it with a 3-2 lead after being 2-0 down. And at this point, I was 2-1, obviously. And here, now, what I wanted to talk about here was right here. This is the moment he presses pass, right? So sometimes to see what a pass was like and to understand how deep passing assistant goes, you have to freeze frame the second the pass is made. This is the guy who receives the ball. Nedved is clearly in front of him. He's off balance. Everything is set for me to counter. Somehow, Nedved moves away. He magnetizes towards the ball, and the play goes on. Incredibly so, right? This is a huge, huge, huge issue in FIFA, which leads to this situation where someone might say, yo, you got lucky that your AI blocked it for you. Yeah, but I mean, he's right there. This speaks for itself, really. Just Mbappe. This happens a few times every now and then. Here, it's a rushed pass from myself. Laziness, but with the passing assistance, it ends up working out for me. But we move on. We continue fighting. Again, goes my way. I mean, look at the stats, by the way. I have 95% pass accuracy. He has 69% pass accuracy. And that's with all the examples I'm showing you. So in FIFA 16 or 17, like, this guy would have had like 50% pass accuracy. Can you imagine the amount of counterattacks I would have had? Crazy, man. If you have 69% pass accuracy in FIFA 18 or 19, there are some big problems in your build-up. Like, monstrous problems. Nonetheless, here, another awful, awful pass from him. But, my Neymar is not interested in the play. And he runs back to the point where to get this, he has to slide. And Guendouzi does that thing where the touch is just ever so slightly too big that for a split second, he's not active. And it allows Aouar to get the ball back. And off that situation, he gets a chance, which was not dangerous, but in hindsight, it could have been. He then proceeds to score off a corner cross. I'm sorry, but unless you're on a counterattack and, like, it's completely open, corners are just not my thing in terms of enjoying scoring them and also in, like, rating them. So if I see a corner goal, I'm just like, you're just playing off the RNG, in my honest opinion. He's just playing off the fact that he has Team of the Year Mbappe. Here, we're back to the rebound nation as we see Militao intercept a pass, bounces straight back to him. And here, his goal, nothing to say here. The only thing, like, good goal by all means. The only thing I'm going to say is that this was the most obvious interception in the world that I would have done in the past. But because this game has trained me to believe that no matter what I do, I won't intercept the ball, I have these moments of hesitation where I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And that's purely a result of this game literally punishing me every time I intercept. So in these situations, I give too much space. So, it sounds like an excuse, and it is, but it's also the truth. You can't expect me, it's like when you have a dog. People who have dogs and they whack them on the head, and then the dog like flinches every time he's near, or someone raises their hand. If you'll notice, a dog is used to getting hit. The same way I'm used to interceptions not not working, because I've been trained to believe that it won't work anyway, so I get scared, right? But it's not all cookies and cream. My dog's lucky. I've never hit him and never will. But some dogs get hit. Likewise, in some games, you get punished for right decisions, and you start second guessing yourself. And this was a good goal nonetheless. We proceed there. This was to make it 2-1, so to make it tied on aggregate again. Really lucky goal if you look at the fact that this was the right idea, but the angle just wasn't there. Still goes through him. I time it, but it doesn't matter. It goes through Kimpembe. Really unlucky. Here, it's a little bit of a mess. I tackle with Vieira. Goes back to him. He passes it. Slide tackle Sandro, and it drops back to him. Just messy for no reason. Horrific pass for myself in this situation. Lifted by the CPU, which makes it that much harder for Mbappe to intercept, which allows Vieira to put pressure on him and regain possession. Now, goal kicks are something as well that, it's fine changing them, but they made them harder this year in terms of aiming to your CDMs. Therefore, if you can, you always want to pass it to your fullbacks. And when you see them open, I personally get excited. So I'm like, oh, sweet, free goal kick, because he's not pressing my fullbacks. This is an uncontested header, and he misses it. That can't happen. That just can't happen. And obviously here we have a fresh Willian taking this touch. Yes, from a driven pass, but it's the 83rd. He's fresh. He just came on as a super sub. You can't be doing this. So much randomness. And then finally, with 5 minutes to spare, we're heading into golden goal. I get the 2-2 goal, which puts me back at 1 goal advantage. But, it wasn't over yet, because of situations like these, when my players this guy's covering and he passed this way, and this guy's coming back to cover this. So I'm waiting for any eventual pass that might come through to press with David Luiz, even though I know in theory this shouldn't happen. But it almost does, because of that. And it actually does go through. So at that point, I'm like, whoa. And the worst part about this all is that it auto switches me to Alexandro when I didn't want to be. So I couldn't even use him to press in. It's just a glitchy, unfortunate situation. And as we near the end at this point, we see another just pass that goes right next to the CDM, and nothing seems to happen. So that's unfortunate. But that's it for the examples, man. Those are the things I wanted to cover. 100%. I understand if people, you're being way too hypercritical, like looking at this and that. Just play the game. Man, I tried playing the game for months and months on end. But it's clear as day to me, especially when you look at the round 5 and 6, which I showed you, because after this win I was 3-1, but I showed the games which I lost to make me go 3-2 and then 3-3 before these last games. Those games really showed me that at a certain point, it's just complete randomness. It's unbelievable to me losing a series of best of 2 5-4 because my opponent scored 4 El Tornado goals. Like, can you imagine? You don't even have to imagine. I literally showed it. It's just, it's too random. It's too random, and people are clearly not enjoying it, at least a large majority of people. So that's what I wanted to say about the state of FIFA 19. It's a mess. It goes beyond AI defending, beyond El Tornados. As you can see, just the fundamentals are just not there. Nonetheless, let me know what you think. If you watched until now, you are a legend. And until next time, peace out.